Hey everyone and welcome back. Now in today's video we'll be discussing about the basics of Consul architecture at a very high level overview. Now when you discuss about Consul, there are two primary components that are involved. One is the Consul server and you have the Consul client. Now the same can be represented from this diagram as well. Now let's quickly look into each one of the component. So a Consul server is primarily responsible for maintaining the cluster state as well as responding to the queries which are received from the client. So the entire cluster state, including the data that is part of the key value and others, are responsibility of the Consul server, and Consul client can go ahead and connect to the server to fetch certain data as well as to provide various information like health check to the server. So in this diagram you see a Consul client is requesting for a data which is located at ABC, and the server is responding back with the value associated with this location path. The next one is the Consul client. Now the Consul client is primarily responsible for making the request to the server, and they are also used for performing the health check. Now we'll be discussing in great detail about the health check and related information when we are discussing about the service discovery, but at a high level overview just remember that the client basically is responsible for making requests to the server, post which the server performs certain action. Now along with that, it is also important for us to understand the basics of Consul agent. So a agent is a long running daemon on every member of a Consul cluster. So be it the server, be it a client, the Consul agent is something that needs to be run. Now the agent is able to primarily run either in the client mode as well as the server mode. This is very important part to remember. So generally what happens is that whenever you go ahead and start a Consul agent, you start it either at the server mode or a client mode. So at this stage, whenever we had run a Consul agent dev, here you will see that under the server it is true. So that basically means that it has started itself as the server mode, and this is one of the reasons why you are able to load the GUI and also see various other information. Now also note here is that since all the node must be running an Consul agent, it is generally simpler to refer the node as being either a client or a server. This is something that we have already been doing. So within the terminal, let's go ahead and start the Consul agent in the dev mode. Now here if you will see under the server it is saying as true. So this is basically a server mode here, and in fact from a different terminal if you see Consul members, it will show you the list of members that are part. So here you only have the Consul 01 node and the type here is server. Now even from the GUI, if you go to the nodes tab here, you should see that you have only one node and this node is a leader. So this is basically the server node. Now one more important terminology that we need to know is the Consul data center. So a Consul data center is a networking environment that is private, low latency and high bandwidth. So this excludes communication that would typically traverse over a public internet. Now generally if you have worked with AWS, multiple availability zone within a single AWS region would be considered as part of a single data center. So if you typically look into the diagram, so this is one of the diagrams. So here you see you have a data center 1 and you have data center 2, and within data center you have multiple servers. So currently here you see that there are 3 servers that are available for high availability, and you have multiple clients. So you have Consul servers and you have Consul client. So here what would happen is that even if one of the Consul server goes down, you still have other 2 servers that can store the state. So this is the high level architecture. We'll be going ahead and we'll be discussing things in more detail, but at a high level overview, you should know the basics of the server, the client and the data center here. Now even in the GUI you should see that you have a data center, the name is DC1 here. So that's a very high level overview about the Consul architecture. Now we'll be going in great detail related to the things that we have been discussing step by step, but at a high level overview you should know the basic terminology here.